Hi, my name is Jesus Reyes. I work at Center Theater Group. I'm the Community Partnerships Director, and I am so happy to have the members from Teatro Liberado here. Woohoo! All the way from Long Beach, Pomona, and Big Bear, because she's on vacation. Uh, and your names are on there, so that's fantastic. But I'd love for you guys to just introduce yourselves. Let's start with whomever.
I'll jump in. Hi, everyone. I'm Yané Garcia. My pronouns are they, them. I am one of the co-founders of Teatro Liberado, as well as the community partnership person as well.
Welcome.
I'll go next. Oh, I'll go next. Hi, everybody. My name is Karina, and pronouns are she, her. I am part of Teatro Liberado's ensemble. I also do social media, social justice, and I am co-chair with Mita. Oh, and I play Estrella and Caminos.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and just jump in right after. Well, hi everyone. My name is Mita. My pronouns are they, she. I'm also, as Karina said, co-chair with her on social media as well as social justice, and partnering with Yané as community coordinator as well.
Hello, I'm Bianca Leaños. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the technical director of Teatro Liberado and an ensemble member as well.
Wow, thank you. Well, I'm so happy you all agreed to participate. I met Yané when they was an intern in the Education Community Partnerships Department, and we've kept in touch. And then she reached out to one of my coworkers about working together after you all formed the group. And I remember, I think I told Yané, my library readings were full because I organize them a year in advance. I do 12 readings in Boyle Heights, 3 different libraries, but the company works so far in advance. You know, I think this last year I was 2 years in advance because we had a grant. So I'm like, wow, let me just book it 2 years in advance and get people that I trust and love. And then I said to her, but if somebody falls through, which sometimes happens, you know, in the 6-7 years coming up that I've been doing it, it's happened at least twice, if not 3 times. And then somebody fell through. And so I was like, Yané, so tell me about your play. Send me your play. Let me read it. And then she sent me Caminos, The Mother's Journey, which is a play that you all were supposed to present as part of the library play reading series this earlier this year before the shutdown for the pandemic. But then you all adapted it, which we're going to talk about later. So I'm happy that happened, that we got to meet you, I got to read your work, got to see your work, and then our relationship will continue, ¿verdad? Si Dios quiere, niña.
Por favor, sí.
Por favor. So I have a few questions. So we're going to start with the questions, and we can deviate and come back if we need to. But I'm going to start with the obvious questions to tell us a bit about Teatro Liberado, who, what, when, where, why. And whoever wants to take it away, I would love anybody watching this to learn who Teatro Liberado is, because LA has so many theater companies and so many groups and so many independent artists, and they come and go, and it's wonderful, as it should be. I think that life cycle of any group should have a life cycle, you know, beginning, middle, and end. So I'm happy that we're in the beginning with you all, and let's see what happens. But tell us about the company. I'm going to drink while you guys talk.
Yes, hydrate, that's important. So I'll go ahead and start us off with this one, since I'm one of the co-founders. So the idea started with myself and Larry Mayorquin, who is the other co-founder. And it was a couple months after we had graduated from Cal Poly. And Larry and I had both worked on our senior project together. So we were to play together revolving mental health and bringing awareness to that. And we just knew we liked working with each other and we wanted to continue doing so after graduation. So it was a couple months after graduation, we both were like, hey, are you ready to write a play again? And we both were talking about how we wanted to talk about immigration issues. And we brought up, like, what about if we interview like different mothers' perspectives on how they got to the United States? Because that was an experience that I wasn't aware of. Like with my mom, like I never felt like I could ask her about her journey. So then we went ahead and organized everything, kind of figured out a game plan. And one of the big things was that we wanted to invite more Cal Poly Pomona alumni to join us. So we invited our classmates that had graduated before us or after us to join us. And we became this really fierce ensemble together and just workshopped our play using the moment work by Tectonic Theater Company, also Moises Kaufman.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know you went to one of their classes too, so I know you're familiar
Years
with
ago,
it.
yeah, Moises, he's wonderful.
Yeah, so we used his moment work book as our foundation to workshop our play, to figure out how to go about interviewing, figuring out moment work. It was really such a blessing to be able to create this play with such powerful and strong artists from all angles. And within the first year, we made it our goal to have our first draft of our play for a reading with Southern California Shakespeare Festival. And that was one of our first readings that we had there. And then we had the honor to also go to downtown Pomona, which was such an experience to be able to perform in Pomona, in downtown Pomona, because I grew up in Pomona. And that was always like the cool spot to be. So it's just so cool to be able to perform our full piece there, you know, costumes, as much lighting as we can get, as much sound as we can get, because, you know, we got to work with what we got. And then fast forward to like now where pandemic hit, and then we were just like, all right, let's see how we can adjust, just as everybody else in the theater world is adjusting. And we got the opportunity to work with you and create our play into a screenplay, which was such a journey. And here we are today. So if anyone else wants to tap in.
Yeah, tell me about you all individually in the company, how you fit in, what's your role, etc.
Yes. So all of us have so many roles. Karina, I saw your hand, so if you want to speak on it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that when I first heard about like the idea of, it was actually not even like, I didn't know it was going to become like this like company. It was, at first I thought it was going to be a show, which we created together. But initially Larry had reached out to me and he texted me and he just asked me if I would be interested in joining forces, like to be a part of a play or like just a project in which we honor our mothers and our culture and their stories. And I was like, oh, like that's really like, that's dope. Like I want to be a part of that. And initially I have like a lot of things on my plate at the time. So I was like, I don't know if I could, you know, make all these meetings yet or anything like that, but I want to like be a part of it in any way that I can. And he had just seen my senior project, and I did some sound design for like my own project. And he was like, honestly, if you could just do like sound, like, you know, come up with some songs for a play or even sing your own. So that's how it all kind of like, that's how I kind of became part of it, because I was like, oh, I'd love to like even just write a song. And my song actually comes out at the end of Caminos. And that was like an amazing opportunity, I think, like for me, because I was able to like write my first song ever. And it like premiered in our play about our moms. It was just so special. But that's how it started. And then the other roles that I play, so I act in our ensemble, and then I do social media with Mita, and that's been a wild ride. We'll talk more about that in a bit, but it's been fun though, like just being innovative and like being creative with it, and seeing how much impact we can have with others who are interested in seeing or listening to these stories about our moms, and I've seen like a lot of like good feedback in which people are inspired to tell their stories as well.
Wonderful.
So.
We'll talk more about that, definitely. Bianca, Mita, who wants to go?
Okay, so I'll go then. So Bianca, yes, I am the technical director. Larry hit me up because my major, well, I graduated with a technical design, degree. So, and at the time I was actually currently working at Mount Sac, working in their shop and building stages, building like for their productions there. And he was like, he told me the same thing like Karina, where he's like, we're writing this about our mothers to celebrate our culture. But he's like, but I also need someone that knows more of the tech side, sound, everything, to connect everything together. And I'm like, I could do that. And he's like, yes, I need you. So I was like completely drawn to it from the beginning, just how he presented it to me. And also I wanted my mother's story to be told, because she's been through a lot, like my family in general. So I was like, yes, I'll do it. But yeah, this journey it's been amazing. And again, and in connecting with everyone, because yes, we all knew each other from Cal Poly. Yes, we done shows together, but we never like done something like this. And it's brought us, and it brought us together, it bonded us, and now we really are a family. And I do thank Yané and Larry for that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Bianca. Well, I work as social media as well as social justice. In the beginning, Yané actually reached out to me, and I was still graduating from Cal Poly. It was like my last year, and so I was in the midst of like, I remember I was starting a new job, and then I was graduating, and then I got this amazing opportunity, and I felt like everything was just like all lining up at like, I was like blessed, I almost felt blessed, because it felt like the dream right after graduation that I got this opportunity, and it was very, when I first went in, they already kind of formed the group. The group came together in November 2018, and I came in around June of 2019. And they told me about this project and what they wanted to do, and I was like, okay, I was like awesome. I was like, this is something that I would love, and I would be honored to join and to participate in, not only because it was something for to tell like my mother's story, but something so I can acknowledge like my culture, my heritage, something I was very proud of. And I told Yané as well as Larry that I had a passion for social justice, and I love education, and I realized how much I love educating as well as learning. And that's how I kind of got into the realm of social justice. And at first I was like, I don't know, like what to do with that role, because there's so many different things that you can do. And I was still like beginning to learn what needs to be done for the group and what social justice means in terms of Teatro Liberado. So I remember at the same time, me and Karina both volunteered to be social media, and that happened a little pre-COVID, and we had no idea it was gonna hit, but I think we had no context, no clue how to start, because it brought a lot of anxiety, as anyone had. And I remember the first two people who actually, let me go ahead and credit them. It was Yané and Rebecca who started social media, and they just needed a cool minute just to separate and focus on Yané being co-founder and Rebecca being what was this, Spanish interpreter. Rebecca had a couple roles actually. She had fundraising and a couple more, but I can't remember from the top of my head. But anyways, me and Karina had the opportunity to join forces to create the social media that we're doing right now, and it's been one of the most rewarding experiences, because I've learned so much what we have done, especially with Caminos, making that into webisodes, and to tell this story virtually. And that's honestly been a learning experience, as well as a very just rewarding experience in general.
Who's missing? Is anybody missing here
There's
from Teatro Liberado? There's more, right? There are more people. Who are they?
Yeah.
So we have Larry, who's the other co-founder. We have Rebecca, who I'm going to list the top of my head because, like I said before, we all wear multiple hats.
Yeah.
So Rebecca was one of the co-writers.
What's her last name?
Ramirez. Yeah, Rebecca Ramirez. We have Sofia Levi, Isaac Jimenez, Yovanna Quintero.
Eluzai Salmeron.
Thank you.
¿Qué más?
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a
did we mention Isaac?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Sophia and Isaac just recently joined us too, and they're still, I think they're first year, second year at Cal Poly Pomona, and before that they were at the School of Arts in downtown Pomona.
Wonderful. Yeah. Wow, it's a big group. So everybody's Pomona, Cal Poly Pomona.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from you guys, did you all study theater, or what did you study?
I think everyone did study theater.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's so, for me, it's incredibly emotional, right? To see people that look like me, beautiful brown people from all over Latin America represent and continue to uplift our stories, right? We have to continually do that. There's never enough of, I know a lot of people have issues, excuse me, with constantly people perceive that we're saying the same stories, right? That Black people are always talking about slavery, that Mexicans are always talking about La Migra, et cetera, et cetera. But that's what happens. That's part of our history. And while we're going to share many stories, you can't knock anybody for any of that. And I think, our mother stories is incredibly important to tell. And I know me personally, I think Yané, you said, I've never asked my mom and never felt I could. Yeah, I think for many of us, we don't feel that we can ask them what they went through, because it's sort of unbelievable for some of them, right? That they actually literally uprooted and left their familia. And it's hard for people who don't come from that to understand what it means to literally pick up and go, and not pick up and go with a passport and, I'm going to spend 5 years in France, shit like that. Sorry. It's not a vacation. It's a whole new, and then I'm going to come back. It's nothing like that. It's a whole new life experience. So Caminos, A Mother's Journey. Who were the real people that you interviewed that ended up in the piece? I know this is not on the list of questions I gave you.
It was our mothers, and some were aunts and sisters. So we're all femmes, and they're based off of real people and their stories. And what was interesting is that most of the show is directly from the transcriptions we made, and most of us we translated from Spanish to English or English to Spanish, and most of the people did speak Spanish. So that's how a lot of the text from the script is very bilingual.
I love plays in Spanish. I think the language is incredible. It is so beautiful, and I get so jealous. Yeah, it's fantastic. Now, so originally the play was 8 monologues. Is that correct?
8 monologues?
Was the play a play, or were there monologues?
It was a play.
Got it. And then when we spoke,
Mhm.
we talked, I asked you these questions, you know, about separating them maybe.
Mhm.
And is that how then they became monologues? Can you tell me about adapting the play, the regular play, into what ended up being?
Yeah. So it was myself, Larry, and Rebecca. So we're like the main writing team. And so what we basically did, we assigned each other, we broke it up to like moms. So I
Mm,
think I got two moms, Rebecca also got two moms, and Larry got two moms. And then we all worked on Estrella. And we were just kind of like, well, what's the moment we definitely want to share if somebody's like, this is the first time somebody's seeing the show, like what's the most impactful like pieces of their story that we want to honor. And that's kind of how we went about it. And it was very interesting to like, it was because at first I just kind of copy and pasted like the mom I was doing, and then like I was like, okay, well this does not work for a screenplay. And I know Jesus, you had mentioned that like it's very different,
yeah.
and I was very much, it was a struggle to adapt it because I never had done it before. But I think what made it so fun to do was the fact that like you were like, oh yeah, you can do this, like here's some resources, like not like
Totally.
no pasa nada, like you
Just
know.
jump.
Yeah. And we jumped
You
and
did.
many rough drafts, but we only gave ourselves like a week and a half to do the rough drafts so that we had enough time to give the actors time to be off book.
Hmm.
So it was very much a like interesting process to be so busy during like quarantine and just
Yeah.
being like, well, at least I have something to put all my energy into while I'm being at home safe. Mm-hmm.
It's true though. It's true. You know, you dive into a project during these times, it'll get you through, hopefully, you know, so I think Mita, you talked about anxiety or you know, feeling these feelings during, but this is what art can do for some of us, you know, whether you're cooking, that's why everybody's gaining so much weight because of their cooking, but the art of cooking is phenomenal. I mean, I know I have. You know, or just art or writing, or even better, my favorite, rewriting and rewriting and recutting and recutting. Because, gosh darn it, writers, you just work on the next draft already. Um, so I have to thank you because we had 4 partners that um, we still needed to go through the end of our fiscal year to present, and then COVID happened. You all, East LA College, are partnered through CTG, and 2 independent artists, Joe Hernandez Kolsky, aka Pocho Joe, and Fran De Leon, a wonderful local actress, Filipina American, and everybody sort of jumped. You know, I was like, "Can you just adapt it?" And everybody was scared. I think maybe Joe was less scared, but still, you know, he's trying to be macho, uh, and uh, and you all jumped, and that's, I'm very fortunate to have friendships, partnerships that way, because I understand that you could be scared and not understand, but I think what I'm trying to say is that we have to do the work. And I think we especially have to do the work, and we have to take the challenge and not let anybody tell us otherwise. And I'm incredibly proud of all of us as people of color that took the plunge and were like, no, we're going to do it, and didn't let it affect us. I'm not saying you didn't have days that you weren't, but it's so important for us to do the work, work harder, and push it out. Because if we don't, nobody's going to do it for us, and that's just the truth. And you guys did it, so I applaud you for that. So then, whose idea? How did it translate from a play to this idea of a YouTuber vlogger? Because I love that. I thought that was brilliant. I'm going to drink while you think.
I don't mean to be the only one speaking. It's just that I was part of the writing team. So, but please, Mita, Bianca, Karina, if y'all want to say
Well, tell us how
anything.
it started, and then because I need to
Okay.
ask Mita and Karina especially about the social media aspect of it, because they'll
Mhm.
definitely be able to talk about like the causes associated, which I thought were lovely. The idea, I think, maybe of Karina of kicking off that she is the vlogger,
Mhm.
right, and what that means to the storyline. And then Bianca, were you an actor too, Bianca?
Yes.
Yeah, and you were an actor. So then, if you helped with tech and having to do with that, so you the three of you can jump in on that. But I definitely would love to hear Yané, just at least quickly the beginnings of how that idea came.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it came from like, how do we make this a believable story? And how can we, like, what access do we have to be able to record in quarantine? Like, what can we use, like, spaces wise? One of the first ideas we had was like, oh, we can just make it seem like all of the mothers go visit Karina, and then we can just send out the actors like the same poster and kind of set them up at the same like white wall. And then we were like, that's like a little much, let's not do that. So then I was the one that proposed, like, why not, like, let's make it that Estrella goes to their houses, and because like that's like the polite thing to do, like,
That's
as
right.
you'll always go to their house, cuartecito.
Yes.
And because Estrella is a big part of the story, but also like is our narrator of the story in the play, we still wanted to kind of honor that. And we were just like, well, what's the way that she can still be narrating this without it being very awkward or just very unnatural? So we were just like, oh, Estrella could start her own YouTube channel, therefore she can have a whole segment for herself where she introduces the mothers in the beginning, she can close them off, she can have an episode like all to herself in the beginning to kind of see like where she's at before she gets to talk to the moms. And then I think Jesus, you encouraged me to
bookend it, yeah.
to bookend it, and I was like, no, yes, of course, that makes sense. So it was, yeah, definitely just like adjusting to the times that we're in, is just like quarantine, and how do we create theater.
And I want to remind us that you all did this at the top of the quarantine. So what month were you guys, what do you remember?
I think it was May.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
early. So just so anybody listening, it's like, it's not now. You guys did it way up. This is what's so phenomenal about these three partners that I talked about, that you all had to do it then. Karina, I'm sorry. How was it for you to kick it off?
See.
There you are.
Okay. Yeah, it was lagging. I was gonna say you can call me Estrella too. I love her.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. For me, it meant a lot that they wrote me as like a YouTube vlogger, because just Estrella's character in general, and we've talked about this with the company as well and with the writers. She represents all of us who have asked our mothers about their stories, or our mother figures. She represents like the second generation, like the millennial, the young brown woman, man, who's trying to navigate through life at a point in time in their lives, especially as a college student, being the first one to go to college and have that experience and make everybody proud. And it's an amazing thing, but it's also a lot of pressure, on people like us. So yeah, I think that's something that it meant a lot to me. And to start it off with a vlog, and to, I guess, embrace her energy that she has, it also meant a lot to me. It was exciting, because I feel like vlogging is it's so normal now. Like everyone just tells you about their day and they go on their stories on Instagram, and it's like, hey, here I am today, So I think that was just exciting for me to be able to like live through Estrella, and embrace like all of her feelings at once of oh my gosh, like I'm gonna go here, you guys, like I'm so excited, and getting the audience excited with me, and then then talking about all of my comadres and how like important they are, and saying like, oh, I learned this from this comadre today, and I learned this from this comadre, and the fact that these stories are all real stories, you know, that they're true stories, and almost like word for what these like comadres actually had to say, what our mothers actually had to say, what our abuelitas actually said. And so that in itself is just so special to all of us, I think. And just being able to play Estrella again, it's just it's honestly just such an honor. It's funny because when I started memorizing my lines in quarantine, I was like, oh my goodness, like I have the most lines, and I was like, I really need to get this, and I want this introduction to be strong, and I want the ending to be strong. And it's funny because I was able to like, I had like a lot of nerves, like when we were filming, I was like, I want to get this right, you know? And so I threw that like into her character, and I think like it helped me at least have like more energy. And the feedback that I've got was like, oh yeah, you know, like it was really like, I was like excited to watch what you had to say. I was like, oh good, because I was nervous.
And that is theater right there. Because let's face it, we're not doing theater, but that feeling is theater.
Yes.
Yeah. And Bianca, you were an actor and you worked on some technical stuff. Can you talk about that dance and what you know, what came out of that?
Actually, since I am the technical director, but when we adapted it to the screenplay, I didn't do anything with that.
Fantastic.
That was more Karina and her brother and Yané.
Yeah.
But acting, that was that was a trip. Just like Karina said, I got really nervous. I was like, now I see a screen, I see myself. So it was like, now looking at myself made me more nervous. And I think I kind of struggled to the fact that like I'm used to the stage more than to a screen. So I don't know if I felt like I struggled a bit to kind of adapt that way, but I think I try to portray the characters as best as possible that I love.
Well, you did a good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It is scary, right? To then all of a sudden go like, oh, there's this thing. Am I looking at this thing or am I not looking at this thing?
Exactly. Yeah. That's I kept asking those questions. I'm like, do I look to the right, left? Where do I look?
That's fantastic. And then I love that you took the vlogger trip and then you posted it on Instagram. And Mita, you could probably tell us how you shared it, and then what you added to it, which was the cause, which was really wonderful. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I would absolutely love to. So, like we said, we made these webisodes in the beginning of May. And I think right after 2 weeks later, Black Lives Matter movement hit. And it was a beautiful as well as very sensible experience that we all had through social media. And I remember we had these, we were ready to go. I remember we were ready to go and we were ready to post all the webisodes, and we were confirming, we're like, oh, we're gonna do this on IGTV, like everything's set to go. And we had even a schedule set up of where or what time and what day to put all these webisodes on the Instagram. And Black Lives Matter hit, and I confirmed with Yané. I was like, yo, like, I don't feel comfortable, especially we're in a time where we need to hold space and share awareness for the Black community. And we put a hold on it. And we made sure that as a Latinx theater social justice group, we wanted to make sure we were allies during this time. So we did what we had to do. We did fundraisers. We posted on our stories on Instagram. We did everything we needed so we can make sure we were there for the movement. And I think we did a really good job at that. But we still had these webisodes in the archives. Or like, when are we gonna release them. So Yané had the brilliant idea of partnering as well as sharing awareness to a specific to a couple of Black organizations. And since our story kind of captures brown mothers and their struggles and their journey, we kind of wanted an organization that does that as well. So we, I shouldn't say we, Yané came across the organization of NAB, which stands for the National Association to Advance Black Birth. And it's a wonderful organization that advocates for Black mothers and persons through the maternal care as well as their health. And what we did, they have what they call the Black Birthing Bill of Rights, where they have maybe like Instagram little size pictures where it's like a Bill of Rights where it'll be like, oh, I have the power to control like my care, and it made sure that these Bill of Rights were advocating, like it was almost like to advocate, how do I say this, to have Black women and persons know their rights. So when they go to hospitals or they go to their checkups, when they're at a health facility, they know their rights and they can advocate for themselves.
That's wonderful.
And we decided to do that and to hold space and awareness through those little pictures through our social media. And we partnered up with them and we sent them an email that we would love to have a discussion and we'll have a conversation with them, which we did. And I believe it's on our YouTube page right now if y'all want to see it, but to the audience out there. But that's essentially what we did, and that's how everything kind of came together. And I wouldn't want any other different, because I think me and Yané both realized how much we love community-based conversations and how much we appreciate to hold people, hold organizations as well as people. And I feel like that was one of our passions that we both found out. But yeah, that's how the webisodes kind of was created and how it was articulated.
I love it. I think there's something to be said about partnerships, and when you pick the right partnerships, it doesn't dilute the artwork. And if anything, it should strengthen the relationship and elevate the artwork, because the art needs to sort of stand by itself and be its magical self, and sort of be, what is the word, unconditionally nothing but this wonderful piece of art. But then it has to live in community. The art has to live in community. And I think you guys have done that so perfectly in marrying them. How was, and this is just a mix of question, how was the partnership and the videos, how were they received? What were did you hear anything from the people you interviewed or people who saw them, or friends or family? What did you guys hear? Feedback.
Yeah, I'm actually, I remember Karina telling her, I think it was her sister, an experience that a lot of people received it. Well, it was received really great. It was, we have a segment on our Instagram bio where people reposted. We have like fellow theater companies that we're friends with that reposted. We made sure that it got enough promotion where it can be interactive to the audience. We made sure we had it promoted on Facebook as well as YouTube and Instagram. But I think Instagram was like the main social media platform that got the most reviews from. And a lot of people that didn't get to see the show, in person, got to see it through the comfort of their own home, if for neither be,
Yeah.
But and even if people did see it, from on stage. It was the recognition that they saw that there was a difference between the stage one and the webisode one was received really well from them. I can't remember if it was Karina, but I remember a lot of people saw it as like a learning experience where they would share like, oh, look at this, like look at this video that my friend did, because is like, it was almost like it became like an educational tool for folks to use, and which I thought was very, very, very humbling.
Anybody else? Yeah. Karina?
I'm waiting for it to unmute. Did it unmute?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So for some of my friends actually reached out after they had seen it, and they were the some of my friends who hadn't been able to see the play in person. And one of my friends said that he was like, oh my gosh, he was actually a friend from work, and I really wanted him to see it, and he was like, I live like really far. I was like, okay. So then he's like, I saw your show online, and he was like, it really brought a lot of joy to me in this time. He was like, these stories, he was like, these stories are so, he's like, they're so precious and they're so heartwarming. And I feel like I was able to go like to all these mothers' homes and feel the warmth and feel like there's something like to be happy about. There's something to be thankful for, you know, for those people in your life who do bring that warmth and those mother figures. It was really beautiful. And so my mom actually, she cried when I showed it to her. And she was just like, I can't believe, like, she's like, you guys brought all that beauty to the screen now. And she was like, and I'm so, she's like, I'm moved, and I'm sure like more people will be moved because you were able to still bring that the warmth of each comadre and of Estrella's excitement, and people being able to relate in just so many different ways. Like I know that like people were just so moved by the true stories that these comadres were telling, but the fact that they were telling them like in their homes, you know, it was just like, it was, I've got some really nice feedback, and I cried. I cried.
Yes. And they're funny too. I think the humor is so important. Bianca, what do you have to share?
Like I got great feedback. My family, my mom, same thing. She was like crying because she did the same thing because she saw the stage, and then now to see it on Instagram. She was very touched. But I got a lot of great feedback. I think a lot of people really comment on my laugh and the joy I bring to people's lives. And I'm like, yay.
Yes.
Just the laugh. But I mean, it was awesome to do it. And I don't know.
Thank you. And then Yané, you played your mother?
No, I actually played Bianca's mom.
My mother.
How was that?
It was so fun. I think when Bianca just mentioned her laugh, and one of the things that I don't know, just like the idea of embracing her mom's laugh, because in the interview, I remember the first time I was listening to it, I just couldn't stop laughing because like their laughs are just so contagious, and I just really wanted to honor that, because like a lot of like the way your mom speaks, Bianca, is just so graceful with so much humor and so playful, and I just like really wanted to hone in and honor that part of her, which was cool because when we pre-quarantine, when we did perform it, I got to meet Bianca's mom, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's you. Like, what did you think? And she loved it, so I was like, okay, cool, this is great. It makes me really happy. I think one of the things that always like stuck with me from feedback from the audience is hearing everybody's mom speak on how it impacted them to hear their stories be on stage and be honored and be shown to all these folks that also can relate or somehow like see themselves in the comadres, I just thought that that piece, like that kind of theater, like, or like, how do I say it? Like that is one of the huge reasons why I love theater, is like that connection and that validation of being able to hear your story on stage is just so powerful, especially when it comes to our communities where we're not often asked or we're not often celebrated or encouraged to be in these spaces. So with that, I just think it was just so powerful to hear, for me specifically, like hear the moms' feedbacks.
This is wonderful. Well, you guys did a wonderful job, and I want to know what's next. What's next for you all? What are you working on for Teatro Liberado? And you have a website or Instagram? Yeah.
Yes, we have Instagram. We have our domain for our website, but it's still working because I was like, oh, I was learning how to make a website, and I was like, I thought I bought a website, but I just bought a domain. So there's that, but we're definitely more active on our social media. As far as what's next, I would love to pass it to Mita and Karina because they're the ones really in charge of the next event that we're hosting.
Tell us.
Yes. Do you want to talk about it a little bit, Karina?
Yeah. So we're doing a variety show via Zoom, and we're actually like in the middle of like, or we actually now we have the lineup for all of our performers, and so we invited everyone to come and join us for a Spook Fest talent show that's going to happen this month, because we were thinking like something like there has to be something like some kind of like talent show where we can bring together artists, or I know I've seen different people do like open mics like on like Instagram Live and stuff like that, and Nita and I were thinking like, why don't we like do something for like just anybody to jump in, like artists to come and feel like welcome in a safe space, and just share their art like we used to, you know, and like we miss doing, and so we wanted to create or just bring together community again, because when I think a lot of us have realized like we feel like we love community spaces and we love being able to share our art together and feel good together. And so, Mita, if you want to share, we are actually doing a fundraiser while doing our show. So
yes. So I'm on the board of the Pomona Pride Center as well, and we're both partnering together. And so the fundraiser is going to be towards Pomona Pride Center, which is 20% of the proceeds, but 80% of the proceeds are going to be TFA, which is the Black Trans Femmes of the art, of the arts, yes, of the arts. And it's a wonderful organization as well that highlights and brings awareness to trans and non-binary femmes artists to share resources with for themselves, as well as they have a directory for themselves, as well as creating community with themselves in the organization. So we're going to be donating 8% of proceeds to them. But right now we're in the middle of Tech Week, where we're going to have like virtual dress rehearsals, which I'm really excited for. But the show is going to be on October 9th. All the info is going to be on our social media at Teatro Liberado, and it's going to be via Zoom. So to the audience, please come join us.
Yeah, well, I'll come join you for sure. Because God knows that we're going to get this video out before then.
I know.
But we're trying. Right. I'm so excited, and you all, Teatro Liberado, are going to come play with us again this season, as part of the community stories. So since the libraries are closed, our library play readings are now morphing into what I'm calling community stories, where we have short form and long form. What you have done are long form, even though they're short form independently, but together it's a long form. But we're going to have also a bunch of really short videos. I want to make sure to say, I think I said this to Yané, but to Karina, the work that your brother did on the videos were so fantastic. The graphic elements of it that made it look so it made it pop. It made it feel like, yeah, this is a vlogger. It's not just this.
Yes.
So just tell him I said thank you for that work. And I know you all work collaboratively, but what he brought to that helped elevate the piece to where we needed to. So thank you all for your energy, and I wish you thank you for joining me from everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Anytime.
Yes.
Thank
Well,
you.
I can't wait.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't wait to see what your next project will be independently, and then with us partnership. So I'm sure I'll reach out to start bugging you about that, because I think you guys are fantastic, and thank you for keeping teatro alive all over Southern California.